Okay, now we're just using my computer, nothing else. I'm back for a little bit. I don't know how long. This time, I'm just using the computer. I don't have an extra camera hooked up. Uh, we just have to see how it goes. Try again. Yeah, you're right, Scampy. I have no idea what is causing all this problem. I suspect it's MediaCom, but I disconnected the camera I had on here. I'm just using the computer, nothing else. We'll see how it goes. I wasn't planning on staying here on here very long anyway. Yeah, I'm back, Scampy. Wow. If I have problems this time, I'll wait till late this afternoon and go back on. Maybe there'll be less traffic. It could be a overloaded trunk on my end here. It happens once in a while. I'm hooked into somewhere down south of me, quite a ways, into their main trunk or whatever for down there. And once in a while, that screws things up. Now, if it freezes up again, I'm just going to go off for this morning and say the heck with it. I'll come back late this afternoon and hope that things work out. It's kind of a pain. Maybe the good Lord don't want me to talk about my rant today. That could be too. Things like that happen. You just do the best you can with what you have to work with. Uncle Mike, good morning. Yeah, it wasn't me, Scampy. There's a couple other Rays on there, Ray Toller and a guy named Big Ray. So there's at least three of us that go by Ray on her channel. Yeah, I hope everybody does have a good weekend out there. It's going to be hot, man. I'll tell you. It's been a long time since I've seen 90s, and we're supposedly I'm going to get it here. So yeah. Anyway, one of the reasons I went live today is it looks like it's just not me they're going after, it's my family. And it's unfair as far as I'm concerned. I don't like it. That's why I'm on here to say something about it. There's probably not much I can do about it. The airways out there are pretty much open to anybody that wants to go out there and pursue their thing. Now, just to let you know, I have no intention of going after them or their kids or their families. That's their mode of operation. That's on them. I don't believe in that kind of crap. And why they would choose to do something like that on innocent people, I have no idea. I'm assuming that they're running out of stuff to talk about, and they're doing anything they can out there to make the drama worse. And of course, when they get somebody like me to respond to it, then they're going to get to talk about it for their next show. It provides something for another hour or whatever it is. Fine, do it. Do what you have to do. it shows you how ignorant people can be. I try not to use names that are derogatory and uh, not call people out too much. I know that we're all different in our opinions and how we operate. It's unfortunate that we have people like that uh, that like to put things out over the internet that are untrue. They're talking, I guess, now about my finances, whether I'm going to sell, not sell. Uh, they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see how much of it sticks. It says Scampy caught some feminist video yesterday, and they were saying that you're just paranoid. It made me so mad. Look at, I'm not paranoid about somebody coming down here on my property. I live in a small town. They know who it is. They're handling it on their own. It's not a great big deal. It took me a month to find out who it was. That's all. I spread the word around here that I needed to know who was coming down here and taking pictures. They told me, and that's about all it's been here in town. Now today, I got a phone call, and it seems like somebody decided to dump some broken glass on my frontage out here, or not frontage, but to the side. I have property on a corner here, and it's a half acre. So, and the problem with it is, there's a highway goes by, and the school is clear on the edge out here to where the city limits is. It takes the kids from town here and also the country to that school. And a lot of times they walk this path that's next to the highway here. Highway 63 is what it is. And now with all that broken glass, I've got to figure out how I can get it all up. It's hard on bicycles if they use bicycles out there. It's hard on their shoes if they're walking, or flip-flops, whatever they're using. And there's town people walk past here because out here about would be about a quarter of a mile. Well, it's over a quarter of a mile, but there's a general dollar store down there. These people that do crazy shit like that, and I know it's harassment. That's just the way it is. But it's kind of shitty to do stuff like that. I've never directed or put somebody in a direction of any of these videos out there. Never done it. They're the ones that decide that they want to come on and cause me a problem here in my hometown, or not. It's not a hometown. It's the town I live in. They're the ones that are choosing to go after my kids. They're the ones that use my father's obit to harass me on, I guess it was Facebook. I don't have Facebook, by the way. I'm just going by what somebody else told me. My wife, when we did her obit, which was in our hometown, before I could get home, to here, people were trying to make comments on there that were negative, and it was reported to me, and we removed that section so that no more comments could be put on my wife's obit. People that had known her for all these years could no longer put positive comments, any comments at all, because you can't just sit there and go over every comment as they come in. It's either you have it or you don't. And we chose not to have any on there. And it's that way right now. If you try to put a comment in there, you can't put a comment on my wife's obit. She doesn't deserve that kind of scrutiny. She didn't do anything to not one of those people out there. And yet they enjoy using her as a subject. Now, this part about where somebody thinks I'm paranoid. Gentlemen, is there anybody out there who really believes that I'm paranoid? I'm not in the least paranoid. If I say that somebody said something or is doing something, that you can take that just as gospel. I'm just telling you, that's the way it is. I don't add to my comments to dramatize them, to make them bigger. I've been on this thing over 10 years. And believe it or not, that's the first time I've been accused of anything like that, of being paranoid. My first things that I put up years ago were more technical. And People would come in, make comments, we'd talk back and forth that way. Not a big deal. And this thing here, getting involved with this thing in Otter Creek, I just happened to see it on there and made a couple of comments, and it was like you disturbed the hornet's nest. And they come unglued. And what it is, when they run out of things to talk about, eventually they find somebody they figure is vulnerable and they go after them. And that's what's happening here. I don't know how to describe it, as far as, I'm out here where they can't really touch me, but there's nuts that live in small town USA, and they do bullshit stuff. They just do. They want to be a part of the group. And maybe they can get more vicious in a small town. Who knows? I can tell you that the friends I have here are watching out for me. I'm not worried about somebody walking up to my door because they probably wouldn't get that far. I've been here over 22 years, be 23 here pretty quick. And they know me very well, and their kids know me. Matter of fact, this guy's young enough that when I did, he was going to school right down here. The fact that he chose to be a mouthpiece for J-Hip or whatever, and now that there's a couple other videos out there, I think it's Tug and Megan, whatever, decide to talk about it too, and they guess all around me. They say I'm strange or whatever. Do any of you think that I'm strange? Because I don't. Maybe I just been out of it so long. I have no way of judging others. Not that I want to try. I've been accused of being a hypocrite. The good Lord tells us what to look for. And if I've used some way of judging somebody outside of the Bible, please let me know. Anytime you want to know whether it's righteous or not to do something, go in there. He'll tell you. It tells you about protecting yourself. It tells you about who to stay away from. And the Lord just gives you those things. You don't have to make the judgment. He does it for you, and you can follow his conscript. Yep. A lot of people just don't know what things are about really in real life. That I try to live a decent life, and maybe they're jealous of that. I have no idea. I made my peace with the Lord a long time ago, and I'm not worried about where I'm headed for eternity. I'll get there someday. He just chose not to take me right away. I guess maybe I've got to be a little more deserving before I get to join my wife. But I'm not worried. I'm sure I'm going to join her someday. That's my belief, and it keeps me comfortable in the life that I'm leading right now. Now, as far as being lonesome, after over 60 years of being married, anybody's been married as long as I was is going to be lonesome. And it affects you in your everyday life. As far as your basic thinking, I don't think it changes that. I miss the fact that I can't talk with my wife anymore. I realize that someday that we will be able to converse in a manner of speaking. Right now, I still got kids. I've got friends. I haven't, as far as I know, I don't think I've lost any friends in the last year or 2 or 3 years or 4 years, whatever it's been that this thing has been going on. That maybe you guys have an idea how to handle some of this stuff. I'm not here to preach fire and brimstone or anything like that. And I'm not making accusations as far as going after somebody. I'm not going to do that. Why would I? Things that are against the law are against the law, and I'm not going to cross that line. These people, they're going to, the viciousness that they use to attack people with verbally and morally will be returned to them many times over. Once they're known for doing all this stuff, this underhanded, dirty, mouthy, name-calling stuff, I don't know how they can live with themselves. I don't know how they can sleep at night. I don't know how their families can stand them. Because if they're doing that on somebody like me, they don't know me from Adam. I'm telling you something. They don't know me, period. What do you think family thinks of them? Do you think that they get trusted by others, the people that know them, that have to be around them every day? I doubt it. They've traded their sanity and their soul for money. Look at if it wasn't for the money that they make off from the internet, they wouldn't be doing this. I'm on here because it became a hobby, and it's by accident that I found this drama going on. Now, there's a lot of people out there that I like. I like the way they think. The people that come in to hear, very few of them cause problems. And I don't know of any of you that go to other channels and raise Cain and do things to make their life miserable. I thought we were all of the same mind. Quite frankly, I still feel bad about Michelle and John and their little child. And the reason I don't use her name very often is because I don't want to make her center point of this whole drama thing. You know, John and Michelle are trying to be good parents to this child. And people that use her as a medium to attack the parents don't realize it, but the damage they do to a parent is always transcribed on the child. And she'll pay dearly for that when she gets into high school because kids are going to pick on her over it. I don't think it's fair. But now, I mean, my children are grown. And I'm being threatened with them going after my kids. Why? Why would they do that? What in God's name makes them have the audacity to pull that kind of shit? Plain language. Plain language. Now, some of the language I use, that's just the way it is. Like I say, I'm not monetized. I don't have to kiss somebody's butt to give my opinion or my rant. And that's what it is today. It's a rant. Now, I choose not to go into their channel and look at it because I don't need the bullshit in between. I'm not going to let something drive my blood pressure up, or I know they've made their little thing. Oh, Ray, he's going to have a heart attack or whatever because of this. You get so excited about something. A lot of times I choose my words, so I talk a little slower. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not because I'm so elderly I can't talk. I have health issues like everybody else my age. I take good care of myself. I talk to my kids on a regular basis. I haven't isolated myself from neighbors or friends. The company I worked for when I retired over 16 years ago, the former president of that company calls me every single year. The former office manager of that company still calls me here at home every year. This year, they've called me 3 times. That's like being in a family. That's the kind of people I worked for most of my life. When I was in the big corporate atmosphere where I traveled the whole United States, and I also was over engineering in other countries. I had a good reputation. I passed top security clearances to be on nuclear sites. I worked with the government on different sites, including the TVA system. You know, it's not that I don't have a past. It is a past. It was my wife and I had a good time. We seen the United States. We got to do a lot of things. And when I got into retirement, I thought this was heaven. And until my wife died, this was our heaven. We loved it. These people out there that attack, it's like being a bunch of little sand fleas attacking you when you happen to step off a rowboat and you get on an island and all of a sudden you look down your ankles and they're full of these little black specks biting you. That's what they are. I hope none of you have to go through this bullshit like I am. Now, if you want to know what it's like to live under it for years, you can ask John or Michelle. It doesn't matter whether you like them or not. All they want is a normal life. And people like me, all we ask for is that somebody would give them a little latitude and let them have that life. I don't know how else to explain it, folks. But you're sure welcome to repeat it and tell everybody else how you feel. That's our right as a United States citizen. And I have done nothing outside of that right. I don't make threats to people. I have no intention of taking somebody's life, even though I've been accused of having a killer mind. Yeah, these people with those videos, those creators are accusing me of having a killer mind. Does anybody out there believe that? It's flabbergasting. Now, some of the people that I'm involved with live in Florida, and those people are going to get to meet me. And others here in Iowa are going to get to meet me, and they'll be able to form their own mind in person. And I wish I could meet all of you in person. I honestly do. And you would see that what you see, that's what I am. I'm nothing special, and I'm not a danger to your health. I'm just not. I have the same wants as everybody out there. I love old cars. And I can tell you, I've had over 300 classics in my life. It was my hobby in my years. You can ask my neighbors. When I moved in here, I built this garage out here for 2 cars that I'd had for years. And then one day I decided, well, I don't need them anymore. So I sold them. It's hard to keep up cars unless you're driving them on a regular basis. You name those cars back in the 50s, and I probably owned one of them. And a lot of them in the 60s. I loved hot rods. I have since I was a child. I built my first go-kart. I wasn't even 10 years old. Made it out of wood, and I had a Cushman motor on it. From the time I could turn a wrench, I was rebuilding bikes. I made my first lawnmower, the one that had a motor on it. I got all the parts from a dump. I've always been one of those guys. I love to do things. I always kept busy. And even in this old age, even now, I don't have a Davenport to sit on or lay down on. I've got an easy chair. I kick back. I am going to give me a Davenport because I want to be comfortable. And I'm trying to make it as comfortable as I can these latter days. And I'm doing everything to keep as healthy as I can so I can live longer, not shorter. I want to join my wife, but I'm going to do it at the Lord's time, not my time. The Lord's going to choose the time for it. I'm not going to take my life. And I'm not going to give it freely because somebody wants me gone. And these channels hate me, literally hate me. I wonder how their grandparents feel if they still have grandparents around or parents. I wonder how they feel about these people that go out and do this. I mean, you think back when Marilyn Raby was trying to clear some of their property off after her husband died and run into a roadblock, how she felt. I don't know if she's still alive or not, and nobody's really been able to nail it down, whether it's an old bit with her name on it or whether she's in a nursing home or whatever's going on. For years, they had some sort of a thing they called, I guess it was supposed to be something that they used her name on. I don't know. Greeting people at their schoolhouse. You know, this is silly. And I don't have, you can look around here. I don't have any. I was accused of being infatuated with sex toys and things like that because I had called somebody out on theirs. I have nothing in here like that. My wife and I enjoyed a perfectly healthy life, and I don't need anything or anybody else to make it healthy. Maybe you guys don't understand that people like that, you know, that one that likes his little blow-up dolls, lately all he's talked about is hateful towards women. Does that mean he loves women or hates women? I mean, I'm just asking you. He fills or was filling his channel with stuff about women that had some kind of a problem. I've never done that on this channel. I don't take people and put them on here because they've done something wrong. What I've done is some of these people, when they've done something I think is right, I've patted them on the back. I like watching Super Dave. I think he's a fresh face out there, and he does his very best to put something out there to entertain you. He's a young fella, and he's getting better all the time. You know, you look out there and people have gotten mad at Rich because he fights fire with fire. I don't blame him. You're talking about a guy from New York that's had to walk the streets out there and survived it very well. He was a lawyer and he survived that very well. Was a lawyer. I take that back. He was one. He's very intelligent and he can be vicious if he has to be. He got his channel back. Now, Mike Lutherman was unable to get his back, and I don't know if he's still fighting to get it back or not. But they went over the same subjects, and they're being penalized for it. And they were attacked by these hate channels out there. There's a huge amount of people. Oh, let's see. Noreen says, dune buggy time, Ray. Let's see what anybody has. I've been talking a mile a minute here, and I better look in the chat, see what we've got. I hope the Ohio judge has finally seen the truth and does the right thing. I'm also fearful. Let me slow this down a little bit. John says, somebody sent me a message today saying I never had spinal fusion and that I'm not in pain every day. Maybe it's that person took off his diaper in his furry suit. I know.